The office hummed with the familiar buzz of keyboards and the occasional ring of phones as I settled into my cubicle on that unassuming Tuesday morning. The soft glow of the computer screen cast a pale light on my desk, and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air. It seemed like just another day in the monotonous rhythm of office life. As I sipped my coffee, I couldn't help but notice the subdued whispers and stifled laughter that reverberated around me. My curiosity piqued. I leaned back in my chair, trying to decipher the source of the hushed conversations. It wasn't long before I caught wind of the topic that had become the office's latest fascination: my co-worker Lisa's choice of attire. A group of male colleagues gathered near the water cooler, their eyes stealing glances and their voices lowering conspiratorially. I overheard snippets of phrases like inappropriate and not professional. Intrigued and concerned, I decided to venture into the heart of the gossip. Approaching the water cooler, I greeted the group with a casual smile, trying to gauge their reactions. The conversation faltered momentarily before picking up again, as if my presence added an unexpected layer of tension to their discussion. "Did you see what Lisa was wearing today?" Mark, one of my co-workers, nudged another with a raised eyebrow. "Yeah, I mean, come on, we're at work, not a nightclub," replied Jake, another member of the group, his tone edged with disapproval. Feeling the weight of the situation, I decided to probe further. "What's going on, guys? Why the sudden interest in Lisa's outfit?" The group exchanged uneasy glances before Mark spoke up. "It's just that her attire is distracting, you know. It's making some people uncomfortable." Uncomfortable. The word hung in the air, and I couldn't help but wonder how personal choices could escalate into a workplace concern. As the group dispersed, returning to their desks with lingering murmurs, I remained in the midst of the quiet storm, my mind already churning with thoughts about the day that had started like any other, but promised to unfold into something far from ordinary. The atmosphere in the office seemed charged with an unspoken tension as I delved deeper into the matter that had taken center stage: Lisa's choice of attire. Whispers followed me like a shadow as I navigated through the labyrinth of cubicles, my curiosity now fueled by a growing sense of concern for my coworker. Approaching Lisa's desk, I noticed her engrossed in her work, seemingly oblivious to the clandestine conversations taking place around her. As I hesitated before broaching the topic, I couldn't help but feel a knot tighten in my stomach. How could something as personal as clothing choices become a topic of workplace discussion? "Hey, Lisa," I began tentatively, trying to keep my tone light. "I overheard some discussions around the office, and, well, it seems like there's some talk about your attire." Lisa looked up from her computer screen, her expression shifting from focused to curious. "My attire? What's there to talk about?" I hesitated, choosing my words carefully. Some colleagues find it a bit distracting, and there's this undercurrent of discomfort. "I thought you should know." She raised an eyebrow, a mixture of surprise and defiance in her gaze. "Distracting? I'm just wearing what I feel comfortable in. Why should that be an issue?" As the tension in the conversation escalated, Lisa's neighboring cubicle neighbor, Sarah, chimed in, having overheard our exchange. "Honestly, Lisa, it's not just about comfort. We're all professionals here, and there's a certain level of decorum expected. It's about maintaining a professional environment." Lisa crossed her arms defensively. "So, what? I'm supposed to conform to some outdated idea of professionalism? I don't see how my choice of clothes affects my ability to do my job." The clash of opinions hung in the air, leaving an uncomfortable silence in its wake. Other colleagues nearby were surreptitiously observing the scene, their eyes flitting between Lisa and me. It was a moment frozen in time, a snapshot of the unspoken issue that had now erupted into the forefront of our daily lives. As I left Lisa's desk, the weight of the situation settled on my shoulders, and I couldn't help but wonder how this seemingly insignificant incident would unfold and reshape the dynamics of our workplace in the days to come. The lingering tension from the morning's revelations urged me to address the issue head-on. I couldn't shake off the feeling that an uncomfortable cloud hovered over our workspace, threatening to cast a shadow on our professional relationships. Determined to bridge the gap and maintain a sense of unity among our team, I sought out Lisa in the break room for a candid conversation. "Lisa, can we talk for a moment?" I asked, choosing a corner of the room where we could converse privately. She looked up from stirring her coffee, her expression guarded. "Sure, what's up?" Taking a deep breath, I broached the subject delicately. "I spoke with some colleagues today, and it seems like there's a bit of discomfort regarding your choice of attire. I thought it would be good for us to address it openly and find a resolution." Lisa's eyes narrowed, and a defensive stance replaced her casual demeanor. "Discomfort? Seriously? I can't believe people are making such a big deal out of what I wear. This is ridiculous." "I understand your perspective, Lisa," I replied, trying to maintain a calm tone. "But we work in a professional environment, and sometimes perceptions matter. It's not about restricting your personal style, but finding a balance that ensures everyone feels comfortable." She scoffed. "Why should I change who I am just to fit into some arbitrary idea of professionalism? This is stifling, and I won't conform to it." The discussion quickly escalated into a heated exchange of views. The break room became a battleground of opinions, as Lisa staunchly defended her individuality, while I argued for the importance of maintaining a professional standard that considered the comfort of the entire team. Amidst the rising tension, Jake, who had been silently sipping his coffee nearby, interjected, "Look, can't we find a middle ground here? Maybe there's a way for Lisa to express herself without making others uncomfortable." Lisa rolled her eyes, but Jake continued, "I'm not saying conform completely, but maybe there's a compromise that respects both sides." The suggestion lingered in the air, a seed of potential resolution amidst the discord. As the debate settled into a momentary pause, I couldn't help but reflect on the complexity of finding common ground and the challenges that lay ahead in navigating the delicate balance between personal expression and professional expectations. Little did I know that this attempt to address the issue would only be the beginning of a much larger conversation about workplace culture, individuality, and the unspoken rules that governed our professional lives. The attempted resolution in the break room had opened a Pandora's box of conflicting viewpoints within our office. The clash of perspectives loomed over us like a gathering storm, and it became increasingly apparent that the incident involving Lisa's attire had ignited a deeper conversation about the unwritten rules that governed our workplace. The following days were marked by simmering tensions and discreet discussions. The divide between those advocating for a stringent dress code and those championing individual expression became more pronounced. Meetings, once filled with the hum of productivity, now crackled with an unspoken tension that made the air feel heavy. One afternoon, during a team meeting, the issues surfaced once again. Sarah, who had previously voiced her concerns, spoke up, her tone firm and unwavering. "We need to establish some ground rules. It's not about stifling personal expression, but we have to maintain a professional image for the sake of the team and our clients." Mark, sitting across the table, raised an eyebrow. "But who gets to decide what's professional and what's not? It's subjective. We can't impose our personal preferences on everyone." The room became a battleground of conflicting opinions, each team member defending their stance. I found myself caught in the middle, attempting to mediate and bridge the gap between the two opposing factions. As the discussion escalated, Lisa, who had been silent until now, finally spoke up. "Why should I conform to your idea of professionalism? What's wrong with embracing diversity and letting individuals express themselves?" Sarah sighed. "It's not about conformity, Lisa. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels comfortable. We need to consider the impact our choices have on the team dynamic." The clash of perspectives echoed in the sterile walls of the conference room. The meeting ended without a clear resolution, leaving the office in a state of uneasy equilibrium. The incident had become a catalyst for a broader conversation about the cultural norms that governed our workplace, challenging us to reassess our values and question the assumptions that had long gone unexamined. As I reflected on the clash of perspectives, I couldn't help but feel a sense of urgency. The workplace dynamics were shifting, and the lines between personal expression and professional expectations blurred. Little did I know that this clash would set the stage for a transformative journey that would force us to confront our biases, challenge our assumptions, and ultimately redefine the very fabric of our professional lives. In the wake of the argument and failed attempts at resolution, our office found itself navigating uncharted waters. The incident involving Lisa's attire had left an indelible mark on our collective consciousness, forcing us to confront the nuances of workplace dynamics and question the established norms that had governed our professional lives. One morning, as I settled into my cubicle, Sarah approached with a furrowed brow. "This tension is affecting our team's productivity," she sighed. "We need to find a way to move forward without compromising the professionalism we've always upheld." I nodded in agreement, feeling the weight of the responsibility to steer our team through these uncertain waters. Maybe it's time for a team meeting, an open discussion where everyone can voice their concerns and suggestions. As the meeting unfolded, emotions ran high and perspectives clashed. Jake, who had been relatively quiet throughout the ordeal, finally spoke up. "I think we're all on the same team here. Instead of focusing on our differences, let's find common ground and build from there." Lisa, sitting across the table, chimed in, "Exactly, Jake. We're not enemies, we're colleagues with different perspectives. It's about respecting those differences and finding a way to coexist." The conversation shifted from blame to understanding, and the uncharted waters began to seem a bit more navigable. However, it became clear that the issue extended beyond dress code discussions. It was a reflection of deeper-seated challenges in our workplace culture. Days turned into weeks, and the uncharted waters proved both turbulent and revealing. Team members engaged in one-on-one conversations, seeking to understand each other's viewpoints. Slowly, a sense of unity began to emerge, anchored in the shared goal of creating a workplace where everyone felt valued and respected. During the coffee break, Mark approached me with a newfound sense of optimism. I've been thinking, maybe this incident was a wake-up call for all of us. It's not just about dress codes. It's about creating a culture where diversity is not just tolerated but celebrated." His words echoed the sentiments of others who, like Mark, had experienced a shift in perspective. The uncharted waters had become a crucible of change, forging a path towards a more inclusive and understanding workplace. The culmination of these efforts unfolded in unexpected ways. Workshops on diversity and inclusion facilitated discussions on effective communication and a renewed commitment to fostering a positive work environment. Navigating these uncharted waters had been challenging, but as the days passed, a new sense of camaraderie emerged among the team. The incident that had initially divided us became a catalyst for growth, prompting us to confront uncomfortable truths and inspiring a collective effort to reshape our workplace culture. Little did we know that this journey would continue to unfold, transforming the waters we once feared into a sea of opportunities for positive change and collective growth. In the aftermath of the heated discussions and clashes of perspectives, our office landscape underwent a subtle but profound transformation. The incident that started with a seemingly trivial concern about attire had grown into a catalyst for change, sweeping through the corridors of our workplace like a gust of wind, forcing us to confront long-standing norms and expectations. The office buzzed with a palpable tension, but it was also charged with a newfound awareness. The winds of change were stirring, prompting open conversations about diversity, inclusivity, and the need for a workplace culture that celebrated individuality without compromising professionalism. During a lunch break, as I stood in line for the microwave, Mark approached, his expression thoughtful. He began, "Maybe we've been looking at this the wrong way. Instead of focusing on restrictions, maybe we should embrace the idea of a more inclusive dress code that accommodates different styles." I nodded in agreement. "Exactly, Mark. It's about finding that balance between expressing individuality and maintaining a professional image. Perhaps we can propose a more flexible dress code that respects everyone's comfort." The conversation spread like wildfire, reaching the ears of colleagues who had previously remained on the sidelines. Sarah, who had been a staunch advocate for a stricter dress code, approached me later in the day. "I've been thinking about what you and Mark said. Maybe we can find a compromise that accommodates everyone's preferences without compromising our professionalism." The winds of change were not just limited to dress code discussions. The incident had sparked a broader introspection about the unspoken rules that governed our interactions, the biases that influenced our perceptions, and the need for a more inclusive and respectful workplace culture. In a team meeting, Lisa, who had been at the center of the storm, spoke up. "Let's not just focus on the surface issue. This goes deeper. We need to foster a culture of open communication, where everyone feels heard and respected. That's the real change we need." The sentiment resonated with the team, and discussions expanded beyond dress code concerns to address the underlying issues of communication, respect, and inclusivity. The winds of change, once turbulent, now carried with them the promise of a workplace that embraced diversity and encouraged open dialogue. As weeks passed, the office landscape evolved. New policies were proposed, workshops on inclusivity were conducted, and a sense of unity replaced the earlier tensions. The incident that had initially threatened to divide us became the catalyst for a positive transformation, teaching us that true change begins with acknowledging differences, fostering open dialogue, and embracing the winds of change that carry us towards a more inclusive and harmonious workplace.